All right, Anthony Edwards. This is pretty much a Cade heavy podcast. Let me just make that very clear to everybody listening to this right now. But Anthony Edwards on Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren in the pick and roll. He said Cade's size and his pace, and Jalen Duren is big and athletic. He's actually smarter than a lot of people actually think with his reads and stuff. That is a quote from Anthony Edwards. I read that and it got me thinking, like, I'm going to take this in a different way. But after watching Cade and Duren play together, my thoughts have changed on who the franchise guys are. I know a lot of fans point to Cade and Jaden Ivey as those two guys, and they will take the Pistons as far as they can go. Like, those two have to be the best in order for the Pistons to succeed. My thoughts have changed, though, after watching this scrimmage, and I'm really, like, leaning toward it's Cade and Duren, and where Jaden Ivey and Asor will be more of, I don't want to say role players because I feel like that sometimes comes with like a negative connotation, but I feel like those two players will take more of a back seat and focus on other parts of their games while Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren do some of the heavy lifting. I don't know, but how would you respond to me saying that? Do you agree or do you disagree?
So the way my brain works, you're kind of saying, I'll get to your question. But you're saying Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren are on your T1. They're on your tier 1.
Yep.
And you kind of see Jaden Ivey and Asor Thompson is that tier 2. Not saying that they're bad players, but you kind of see Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren being the focal point of the offense. Now, I don't know because I haven't seen them play together. I haven't seen them, play consistent minutes. I think it's kind of unfair to make that assumption yet. But I could see where you're going with it. When I saw this comment, and a lot of people on Twitter, which I love people on Twitter, I love Pistons Twitter, they said Anthony Edwards to Detroit.
Okay, yeah, that
would be. But I love this from Anthony Edwards. I don't know if you watched the video. I think I did send it to you.
Yeah,
I may have sent you a link, but Anthony Edwards had a really hard time with Cade Cunningham.
Yep.
He was just like, yeah, man, like you don't really see point guards that are 6'6" or 6'8". That's still a mystery, by the way. I don't know how tall Cade Cunningham is. He's 6'6" or 6'8". But he's saying, his size, his pace, like it's really hard to read. Like I don't know if he's gonna go slower or if he's just gonna, go fast. That was cool. But I think what I really took away from this quote was him praising Jalen Duren, saying, that kid is big, he's strong, but like he's smart. Like you guys don't know how smart he is. Like he knows when to cut, he knows when to set a pick, he knows when to pass the ball. Like he's a very smart basketball player, and that just kind of reassured me. We had last week, we were talking about like who are the 3 best prospects, and I think we both had Jalen Duren in there, but it just kind of reassured me that Jalen Duren was worth trading for. And I think Troy Weaver does deserve some credit and a pat on the back for that, getting that kid at 13th overall or 12th overall. I don't remember where he was drafted, but absolutely love these comments from Anthony Edwards. And I don't know, maybe we will see him in Detroit. You never know.
Oh, I don't even want to get thinking about that. That would be pretty cool to see Anthony Edwards playing with Cade Cunningham in the backcourt. No, reading it again, and hearing what you're saying about Jalen Duren, it's hard that's something I'm gonna have to look for more from him this year, like when he makes his cuts, the reads, and everything else you need to do on the basketball floor. Because when he was drafted, you heard me, I thought he'd start in the G League, but because I thought he was more of just like a physical specimen, more of a guy that relied on his athleticism than his basketball IQ. I thought that was the part of his game that would have to catch up to all of the things that, you see and you watch. So to hear it come from another guy like Anthony Edwards, just to talk about how smart of a basketball player is and how he knows when, like you're saying, like how he knows when to cut and knows how to make the right reads, like that's pretty cool. And I think it's more of a testament to Troy Weaver too, because he's always talking about finding his right guys, and it's more than just personality and it's more than just athleticism, but it's guys that know how to play the game of basketball. And I think all of us can get excited because the 4 players that we say are the core, Cade, Ivey, Duren, Asor now, they all seem to be guys that just don't rely on their athleticism, but they rely on their basketball IQ. And it's going to make for a fun little run these guys are going to go on in a few short years. But I don't know. Again, though, back to my original point, it really got me thinking that these are the two main guys, and the Pistons will only go as far as these two take them.
Yeah, it's just I don't know what a Monty Williams 0.5 offense is going to look like. I am going to probably be in shock for the first probably 2 to 3 months because we're going to see so much ball movement, and I haven't seen ball movement out of a Detroit Pistons roster. I'm probably going back to like the Rick Carlisle days. Like the Dwayne Casey offense here in Detroit, this is no slander towards Dwayne Casey. There was no ball movement. We didn't have the right personnel to run his system here. It was ISO, 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 ISO. Oh, maybe a pass here and there. Like, I think those two guys are important. I think they will be the focal point of the offense, but don't sleep on Jaden Ivey. I think Jaden Ivey could definitely be a sneaky candidate for around 20 points a game on this roster. I would not be surprised.
Oh, I still think he'll get it, but I think it will be more because of I just don't think like there will be so many plays drawn up for him specifically. I think a lot of the plays will be drawn up for like Cade and Jalen Duren and trying to get them in some action. And, like, I don't know. I still think Jaden Ivey I'm still with you. I think he could be a 20-point scorer next year. I think him and Cade could both do it. But I think with Jaden Ivey, it will be more of like transition buckets or creating when the offense breaks down off of something Cade and Jalen Duren are trying to do. That's kind of where more I'm getting at. But yeah, real quick on Dwayne Casey's offense. But didn't he try to play the 0.5 offense? I thought James Edwards had tweeted something like that out a couple months ago where Dwayne Casey was trying to get them to run the same thing.
The only thing I ever saw from a Dwayne Casey offense was a lot of dribble handoffs.
Yeah.
Which, he had Jonas Valanciunas in Toronto, which, it worked, but you also had Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan, two of the best, I don't want to say Kyle Lowry was the best, but DeMar DeRozan is one of the best isolation scorers in the NBA, and I think he still is mid-range king. But we just didn't have that here in Detroit. But I'm really excited for Monty Williams' offense. I should just say not his offense, but his system here in Detroit, because if you look, they're always in kind of the middle of the pack for offense, but they're usually a top 10 defensive team. Like, you can go look at his, Phoenix Suns team, and that's something I'm really excited for because we were like I don't want to say we're dead last defensively, but we were basically at the bottom of the league.
We should have been.
Yeah, but we weren't helped. Like we lost our best player, but still, I'm really excited though. Just for this young core.